If you fail to comply with the foregoing restrictions, Nintendo may render the account, services, and/or the applicable Nintendo device, emphasis on device, permanently unusable in whole or in part. In part would mean blacklisted from the online platform as well as updates, but in whole means technically they're saying they could brick your Switch 2 and it would never run another game again. It would be nothing more than a paperweight, and that is absolutely scary language from Nintendo. Now, if they started to actually completely brick Switch 2s and you can use it whatsoever, I imagine that law firms would be salivating over the class action lawsuit against Nintendo. I even think you'd have the government stepping in because no one has ever tried to do that in mass before, and I do not think it would work out in Nintendo's favor. So I'm not trying to say it's likely that they do this. I'm saying that the end user license agreement says they could, but do remember, just because you write something in an end user license agreement does not mean it's enforceable by law. If it would be illegal, just because you sign that agreement doesn't suddenly make it legal for Nintendo. And so many companies love to abuse this end-user license agreement to try to get you to think that things aren't allowed. Now, technically still, at least on the laws in the books, if you're somehow able to get an emulator on Switch 2, if you wanted to emulate PlayStation 1, then technically that reverse engineering would be protected, and you should be able to do it. Now, of course, this is a very old precedent, and there's a bunch of different ones out there that people love to argue about, but technically what Nintendo is saying you can't do, in some parts you can do, at least in the United States. And again, I want to stress this video is US focused, but the European end-user license agreement says that they can make your system or the game not functional in part, and that just sounds like blacklisting. It's interesting that they have a different set of language for the United States versus Europe and the rest of the world.